Hi there, I hope that you find this YouTube video helpful. Essentially what's happened is I've smashed the roof box. I drove into a low beam in a car park and cracked it quite heavily in 4 or 5 different places. So basically holes everywhere, cracks everywhere. It's destroyed the structure of the box. Now the replacement Thule box comes in at £400. As you can see, it's a touring 200, so it's quite a big cost. When it went and hit the barrier, it basically destroyed here. It destroyed all the plastic came off, all the paintwork peeled off, shattered it completely. As you can see, it just comes off here. So what I did was I ignored that and I said, right, what I need to do is just fix these holes. So the first thing I do is took a little Dremel or a multi-tool and basically cut a 45-degree angle on the cracks. Now what that does, it gives it greater retention, but also it allows you to actually pop the plastic back out, so it's not catching anything and it pops out. The next thing I did was I went inside the box to the inside, and you can see where the cracks were. I reinforced it with fiberglass, so you get these fiberglass sheets, the multi-directional fibers, and epoxy resin, with the resin that comes with it. So you mix up the resin with the hardener, and you basically layer the sheets over each other, roughen up the surface, of course, with sandpaper, so you've got a good area for adhesion. Wipe it down, roughen it up, and then put the fiberglass pads over and over. So I've used 4 or 5 different pads over that, different patches over it. Sorry, I called it pads, patches over it, to gain as much strength as possible. One thing I don't like is that you get these little stray fibers. I hate that. And what you can do there is you can use some Isopon P38 and smooth it out. Alternatively, one thing I'm going to try is getting woven fiberglass. Now the advantage of woven fiberglass is almost like cloth, like a linen cloth, and you can just, so you haven't got any stray fibers, you can just place it over the rough fibers there, and again just use your resin and just finish it off. It'll be quite nice. So now you've got that reinforced, you can then take a Dremel and cut a 45-degree taper onto the cracks. As I said, we've done that already, so you can see the little gaps there. And then I went and bought some milliput resin, epoxy resin, off eBay, mixed it up and pressed it on. Now when you do that with the milliput, you get different colors. This is black. As you can see, it's not quite black, it's gray, but this is the kind of finish you get. Okay, and that is workable with an 80 sandpaper, wet and dry sandpaper. You can just smooth that all down. So try and get a nice smooth surface as best as you can. It won't be as smooth as if you use Isopon. Isopon's a beautiful filler. You can actually just pop that on afterwards, and that will give you this kind of look. Or in this area here, you can see the kind of finish you get. Not perfect, but I'll be going over this again with some more Isopon, just where I've ran. I can just feel this dents, etc. We're not happy with it. I'm going to put some Isopon. I tend to do Isopon in layers. I prefer that, so I can just build it up slowly. Over here, as I said, you can see all the gloss finish is just going to chip off. So after I've done this and I've put it on the car and tested it's waterproof, I'll take a Karcher and blast all this off, and then sand it down and blast it off with the Karcher again, just to get as much retention on it as possible, and that will allow me to put my plastic adhesion paint on it. Basically it's a plastic primer for ABS plastics, give it a degree of flexibility, and on top of that I'll put my bumper paint. Where I've got the Thule badges there, what I'll do is I'll just get the heat gun, try and peel these off and use them again, and of course the touring badge, peel it off with the heat gun, use it again. If it comes off, great. If it doesn't, great. Final thing is spraying it down. As I said, spraying it down, get some compound polish onto it, polish it down, get a nice smooth surface, take it from there. It doesn't have to be perfect, because this is going to be so high up on the roof that nobody's going to really see, but what it does need to be is waterproof. So a little tip is to take a torch, drop it into the box so it's sealed in the box, and then switch off all the lights, of course, put the torch on, and then see if there's any light escaping. Now, The reason why you want to do that is because you'll get fine little cracks and you'll be very, very difficult to see. But, you know, chances are if you don't find them, you know what's going to get in there is going to ruin the contents of the box. So again, test it before you start using it. Okay, 6 months time from now, what I'll do is a review on this box once it's all put together and finished, and hopefully it will still be in great condition. Why do I repair these things? Well, because I always think that repairing things is a hell of a lot better than going to work and having to earn £400 to buy a new one. It's also great for the environment as well. I hope this has been useful for you, and I'm just going to recap the things that you'll need, which is fiberglass pads. You can use matted pads or woven pads with fibers in different directions. So you'll need as I said, the fiberglass pads. You'll also need the resin for the fiberglass and hardener. You'll need milliput epoxy resin for filling in the cracks, and Isopon P38 for repairing it. After that is I'm going to be using a plastic primer for flexibility, and on top of that I'll be using bumper spray to get the black on it, and then finally compound to polish it all down as well. So these are the components, and of course remember your sandpaper. I used a P80 when I was doing this, which is quite a rough surface, and as you progress on you'll be using P400s, P800s, etc. to get it nice and smooth. Hopefully that's helped you somehow to repairing your box. As I said, this has been tested for 2 weeks now in the wet with no leakage inside.